In this video, we're going to take a look at practice quiz number 12. For number 1, it says, identify the cross-section below, created when the plane intersected the figure parallel to the base. So whenever we have a cross-section that is parallel to the base, it should have the same shape as the base. And so in this case, our base is a circle, and so our cross-section is also a circle. So a good thing to do to study cross-sections is to look over that page of homework and just check out some more examples of what's created when you cut a 3D figure. So a cross-section is looking at the 2D surface that's created when you slice a 3D figure either parallel to the base, perpendicular to the base, or usually we look at some that are slanted. But look over your homework on that topic to see a few more examples. Let's go ahead to number 2. It says, what figure is created when the figure below is rotated around the axis? And so if we rotate this figure around the axis, it's going to form a cone. Again, a good place to look for this would be IXL Geometry H5. It would give you some more examples of these and just help you to refresh your memory. For number 3, it says the State Fair has set up the location of the midway, which is indicated in the picture by an M, the livestock competition, which is the L, and the food vendors, which is the letter F in the picture. The fair planners wish for the restrooms to be located so that it is the same distance to midway, the livestock competition, and the food vendors. Identify which center of triangles would represent the best location for the bathrooms, and explain why you chose that one. So if you want to have a central location for your bathrooms, then that would mean that you want the center of that triangle to be equidistant to these vertices. And the only one of our centers of triangles that we've learned that would be that way is called the circumcenter. So we would want the circumcenter because it is equidistant. So it has the same distance from each vertex. All right, so that is the best option for number 3. Number 4 says use the diagram below to find the indicated links. L is the centroid of MNO, triangle MNO. NP equals 11, so they've already labeled that. ML is 10, so they've labeled ML is 10. NP was 11, and NL is 8. So let's see, NL is the 8. They want us to find PO, so if we look at our rules for centroid, we know that these P, Q, and R, these points on each side, are the midpoints. So P, Q, and R are midpoints, which means 11 would be NP, and it's also equal to PO. So PO is just equal to 11. MP would be the 1/3, 2/3 rule. So that's what I call it with the centroid. We have the 1/3, 2/3 rule, meaning on our median, so from M to P is a median. It's from a vertex to the midpoint of the opposite side. And LP would be 1/3 of that median, and ML is 2/3 of the median. So if the 2/3 is equal to the 10 that they gave us right there, then that would mean that that's 2/3 of the total. So that's a 5 and another 5, and then the 1/3 would be also equal to 5. So it's broken up into 3 equal parts. And then the centroid separates it into 2/3 and 1/3. So MP total would be just 15 because we could add them all together. Then they asked for LQ, so that's with the same rule, but now we're looking at L to Q, like that whole distance, or excuse me, I'm on the wrong part. I did N to Q. L to Q is just that little 1/3, and then they gave us that NL was 8. So that means I have a 4, and another little part that's equal to 4, which is LQ. So that's just 4. Then we could easily find NQ, because that would be all 4s added together, which would just be 12. For number 5, it says point A is the incenter of triangle PQR. Find each measure below. All right, so for an incenter, we know that these angles are bisected. If they're bisected, then we know that this one's also 40 degrees, and we know that these two would be equal to one another, and that's going to help us figure some things out. So angle ARU, let's see where that is. Angle ARU. So we've already labeled that was just 40 degrees because the one beside it, KRA, is also 40 degrees. Then they said to find AU. So we know that from the incenter to the side of the triangle, those would all be equal, but we don't know what any of those are equal to, so we can't really figure it out. If they had said that like this was 10, just for example, those would all be equal to 10. So let's just pretend they told us that, and we're just going to put 10 right there. But they really didn't give us enough information on this one, but the one on your quiz would have enough information to figure it out. And then let's figure out angle QPK. So QPK is that angle. And all we know are these two are equal to each other, so we need to solve for x and then plug x back in. All right, so let's say 3x plus 2 is equal to 4x minus 9. We could subtract 3x from both sides, so we get 2 is equal to x minus 9. And we could add 9, so we get x equals 11, but they want the angle. So we just have to plug it back in and say 3 times 11 plus 2. So that's 33 plus 2 would equal 35 degrees. All right. So again, it'd be good to look over your homework and your notes for these. And I will say that on your quiz, we're going to provide you with the rules for centroid, incenter, and circumcenter so that you don't have to memorize those just yet. But by using your formula sheet, hopefully you get better at using them on your quiz. All right, so hopefully that helps.